Hello, Brad here, just to say we're super proud that the Friday 5pm podcast is sponsored by the Malt Miller, the UK's best home brew store.
We use the Malt Miller for all of our homebrew experiments, as well as tapping them up for advice and binging on their awesome YouTube channel all the time.
That's why whenever we release a homebrew video, we put a recipe kit live on the Malt Miller, so you can brew with the exact same amazing ingredients that we did. The same ingredients used by pro brewers.
So alongside the Malt Miller's nitro-flushed hops, cold-stored yeast and milled-to-order malts, you can pick up recipe kits for our 5 Points Best Bitter, Russian River West Coast IPA, and now the fastest beer in the world, a hazy session IPA that goes from grain to glass in less than 48 hours.
Sign up to their newsletter at tinyurl.com/Malt Miller to get 5% off your first order. With the Malt Miller's amazing customer service and Johnny's 48-hour recipe, you could order the ingredients on a Monday and be drinking the beer by the weekend.
Speaking of which, it's Friday.
It's 5pm.
So enjoy this week's Friday 5pm podcast. Hey Beer Geeks, and welcome to a new version of The Bubble. It's Friday, it's 5pm, and we hope that wherever you are in the world, you have a beer in front of you. It might be on the train, it might be at home, it might be still at work, you might be on your way to the pub for a beer, but we wanted to take about 20 minutes of your time to round up the week and have a chat about what's going on the Craft Beer Channel, and I'm here with Brad.
Howdy, everybody.
Howdy.
Nice to be back.
You never say howdy unless we're recording. That's strange.
That's true. I've got a cowboy hat on.
So, well, that's true.
Maybe I have. You don't know.
No, you could be lying. I've got a, I don't know, those fruit hats that weird women. A deer stalker. I've got a door.
So Bradley.
On, yes, mate.
I've got some big news for you.
Oh, are you having another baby?
Hell no.
Oh.
No. This is bigger than that.
Oh, bigger than that. Wow.
Bigger than that. This is.
Are we now? Are we going to present the One show on BBC One and be the sweethearts of the nation? No. Or X Factor or something. What's the news, Johnny? I can't wait.
I prefer X Factor to be honest. To the One show.
I mean, nobody likes the One show. It's like Alan Partridge, sort of not on acid, isn't it? It's just. Very
and
much
I've
boring.
always thought of us as like the beer drinkers Anton Deck.
Oh, that's terrifying. I don't know which one I'd hate to be more. One of them is actually...
Well, one of them's an alcoholic, so probably not that one.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
I still don't know which one that is. It's remarkable that they are Anton Deck. I wonder if when they're out and about, people call them Anton Deck. Like, call the individual people Anton Deck.
Let's hope so.
Cover their bases.
Just to mess with them and get in their mind and undermine them as single human entities.
I think I once worked out that the ant is the taller one because it's ironic because he's like ants are small. But
I think Ant McPartland is the one that's the alcoholic, no?
Yeah,
and he's got like a bigger spam than the other one. The other one's more like a sort of slightly Tom Cruise stature kind of guy, from what I can tell. I don't know.
But looks nothing like.
No. Oh no, nothing like the gorgeous Tom Cruise. I mean, they're both gorgeous in their own rights. All humans are gorgeous. But do you remember when one of them got shot in the eyes with paintballs in Biker Grove? Or are you too young?
I wasn't an ITV guy. I was a BBC person.
It was on BBC.
So I never really watched Biker Grove.
I'm pretty sure it was on the BBC, Biker Grove.
Was it BBC? I thought it was ITV.
Pretty sure it was
oh my God.
BBC. But I think you're maybe slightly too young for it.
I don't remember that moment.
Yeah. One of them, I don't know which one it was. One of them got shot in the eyeballs, and then he was blinded by a paintball game, which, shook a nation, mate. Shook a nation.
Do you know, here's a random story. So my cousin, right, when I was really young, somebody told me that my cousin had been shot in the eye by one of those bow and arrows with a sucker on the end.
Ouch.
And that he was blind in one eye as a result of that. But I never verified that, never checked, never asked him. And I'm 99% sure he can see out of both eyes. So I can just never raise this, ever.
What you want to do is...
family.
You kind of want to slightly approach him from a different vector where maybe you can only see from
and see if I can
one
surprise
eye.
him.
Yeah. And what would be even better is if you had a little bow and arrow with a sucker on it and approach from that angle.
See if he flinches.
See if he flinches, or if he just can't see it at all, and then you'll just traumatise him massively. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it, Johnny? Hey, so what's the big news?
Yeah. So the big news is that this is episode 100
Come on,
of the bubble.
Oh well,
Episode 100.
100 of the bubble or 100 of Friday 5 p.m.
100 of Friday 5 p.m.
Boom! Come on. That's
So on top of that, there's 30 odd bubble episodes, and maybe there will be bubble episodes again. I don't really know. We still don't have plans for that particular element of the original element of the podcast, because this has proven much more successful. But yes, 100 episodes. So I mean, in some ways, episode 104 would be more significant, because that would be 2 years of the bubble, given that it's supposedly a weekly podcast. We've missed a couple, but yeah, I mean, we've hit 3 figures. I think we get a little badge or something on Buzzsprout, which is what we use to host it, going like, hey. Oh no, we must have already had that, because it's more than, because they don't know that the bubble and the Friday 5 p.m. is separate. This is a conversation we should have had off air. 100 episodes.
Hey, I've printed out my Bugsprout badge, and I wear it with pride. I've taken to wearing it on my jacket.
I don't think you've ever logged into Buzzsprout, Brad. I'm gonna call bullshit on that.
No, you check me out. I've got a little Bugsprout 100 badge that I'm rocking these days, just to let every sucker out there know I've done 100. I've got 100. I've got a century, mate. I'm a ton up boy, which is what motorcyclists call themselves. Well, old school motorcyclists call themselves when they've done 100 mile an hour on a motorbike. A ton up boy.
There you go. That's us.
Yeah, we're ton up boys.
So I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody that's listened. I wonder how many people have been there since the original episode, which I played a snippet of at the start of this episode. Do you remember that episode at all without prompt?
Hell no. I do think potentially we might have been sat in Beer Merchants, maybe recording after a bubble where I was on the bubble with you guys. I think.
Yeah, I think it was, so I'm just looking at the date. It was January 31st, 2020.
Oh.
So two and a half years ago. So we've missed quite a few episodes. We've missed nearly 6 months of episodes.
Don't tell anyone that, Johnny. Don't tell anyone that.
No. Well, I just did. Damn it. But yeah, I think we were sat in Beer Merchants. We just finished either filming some episodes or recording a bubble. And yeah, and we'd been mulling over this concept for a little while, thinking that what's really nice about our YouTube channel is that every Wednesday at 4 p.m. there's a video, and people have started to, well, I wouldn't set your clocks by it, we're not that reliable, but have started to expect it and enjoy and put time aside ready to watch it on a Wednesday afternoon or evening. And so we wanted to replicate that, but add the idea of, it being a little ritual when you finish work on a Friday, if you do indeed finish on a Friday. I know a lot of people work in the beer industry and therefore might work weekends these days, but that was the original idea. And what I didn't expect is for this podcast to actually become a ritual for us.
No, it's been quite a wonderful addition, I feel, to my life, in that it's just a nice. It doesn't even feel like work. It's just a nice little catch up at the end of the week, digest the video that we've put out this week, talk about what beery things we've done, and just have some, as Adam Buxton would say, a lovely little ramble chat for, it's supposed to be 20 minutes. Increasingly, it's over half an hour.
Yeah, that was in the intro of the first episode. I say, just want to take up 20 minutes of your time. And like hell do we. I think last week's was 40. But we aim at 20 minutes. Much like in YouTube, we aim at 15 and always end up at 20. Mm-hmm. Here we always aim for 20 and end up more like 30. But what I really like about this format is that back when we were young and we had no concerns in life, and you'd go to the pub and you'd talk nonsense.
Yeah.
That's what this allows us to do. Whereas when you and me meet, obviously it's usually pretty work driven, although it wasn't on Tuesday, as we'll get to.
No.
And so, yeah, it is an excuse just to talk about, our great passion in life, which is, of course, crisps, beer. So that's, something I look forward to every weekend. Just, every Friday, just shooting the breeze.
Yeah, man. Pizza for me. Pizza for me. No, maybe tacos.
Pizza's the...
Maybe tacos, actually. No, pizza.
This taco thing's coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, not out of nowhere. You've always enjoyed a taco, but you're really getting into your tacos. these days.
Well, yeah, they're pretty good, aren't they? Where I've got this sort of palette of a 1940s impoverished, rationed child who hasn't.
Is that what you have? You eat sausages?
Yeah,
and
kind of like
small amounts of
hasn't,
butter when you can.
hasn't sort of tried a banana too many times and then's gone, oh, banana's pretty good, isn't it? I like banana. That's kind of me. Definitely, yeah. I've got a kind of a rubbish diet, I suppose. But yeah, I'm sort of, my eyes are being opened in different directions. And for many, many years.
Sounds painful.
I know, right?
Have you taken an arrow to the eye at some point?
Dude, I took a tree branch to the
you
eye,
did?
which you know
did.
about. And now I have this condition which can come back at any time called uveitis, which is an autoimmune thing. Because I basically stabbed myself in the eye and it got kind of infected. Nearly lost my eye. But luckily the cornea kind of can kind of heal itself like a tongue or something, they were telling me in Moorfields. Anyway, it was the most
tongues can heal themselves.
Tongues can heal themselves, yeah.
What, if you chop a bit off?
No, they can't regenerate, but if you bite your tongue, it'll heal itself faster
that's true
than
of the rest of your body, isn't
but
it?
faster than a lot of other parts of your body.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay, now I'm with you.
It has better regenerative properties than other areas of your body because it's in a sort of hostile environment. Anyway, let's get away from body chat.
We talk about a lot of science with very little knowledge of the scientific topics we choose.
Another one is apparently the skin on your lips is quite different to the skin on the rest of your body, right?
Yep.
Apparently that's the same kind of skin that's on your butthole. It's like...
Good Lord.
It's like the other exit. It's a different kind of skin. It's sort of like this weird membrane skin, but yeah, it's like butthole skin.
When I about 10 episodes, when I mentioned we were coming up to 100 episodes, and we were like, we need to do something special. We ran out of time because we've been so busy on a million different projects, and we were like, okay, we'll punt that into long grass. We'll do a celebration later. I still thought we'd managed to do something special for the 100th episode, and indeed we have. We have within the first 10 minutes got to bums. I'm gonna shoot straight over that. We're gonna talk about what I wanted to do is to go back to that first episode, right? And the title of the episode is called Lactose, Fjords, and Low ABVs, right?
Yeah.
Now we
nice.
haven't had time to listen to the podcast. That was on my list of things to do this week. Never got round to it. What do you think we talked about with the title of Lactose, Fjords, and Low ABVs?
I hope it wasn't milkshake IPAs because they suck.
I mean, it probably was.
Yeah.
That was my instinct, and then probably I went on some historical rant about how lactose has been used in milk stouts for decades, and so it's not ahistorical. It's just crap when you put it with bitterness or something like that.
Yeah, it is crap when you put it with bitterness, Defo. It's super weird.
Yeah, it is. And then Fjords, I reckon you were probably telling us about your trip to Norway. You went on a cruise, your one and only cruise.
Oh no, I've been on multiple cruises as a child. I've definitely told you that.
Have you? Well,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
I meant
yeah.
like as an adult.
Oh, as an adult, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I wouldn't go on a cruise as an adult, but I went with my mum and stuff after we lost my dad.
Yeah, I reckon you were telling us about that.
Yeah, which was amazing. It was really great, actually. Yeah, I mean, what's not to like about fjords? They're bloody spectacular,
like a mountain that goes into the sea.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that could have made it better is if you were there singing in Pig. That would have been even more metal and Nordic,
Yeah, I really did assume that everybody could make that noise. So when it blew you and Carl's mind in this week's video, I was like, really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's a normal thing that people can do that quite well. You're quite good at impressions, I think. So, or you actually got like a black metal heart, and that is your true persona.
Maybe it's a bit of both.
Yeah. Anyway,
I used to really love heavy music, so maybe I can just mimic things fairly well.
Yeah, I watched I guess it was quite heavy music, but I won't go too deep into this. But I watched documentary series on Netflix that's just come out called Trainwreck Woodstock 99, and it's just about the descent into chaos and like apocalyptic nightmare that was Woodstock 99. That was just, it just looks absolutely horrendous and like the worst possible festival experience that anyone has ever had. Even worse than that Fire documentary, probably.
I mean, that wasn't really a festival by the end, was it? It
No.
was just shipping a load of rich people to an island and then not giving them any food.
I mean, that
Which I kind of endorse.
that would have made a great reality TV show, wouldn't it? Sort of like telling all the sort of influencers they were going to go to a tropical island and stay in like these sort of bougie little beach huts and whatever, and then they get there and they're like, what do you call it? Like the world, what is it called? The like kind of where they emergency tents in like war zones and shit like that, which is what it turned out to be, and rations and yeah, all kinds of stuff. But anyway, how have we got onto this?
That's also a great documentary. Should you fancy another train wreck of a festival?
Mm.
I used to play in bands, and you know we went to some pretty horrendous festivals. There was one where we it was going all right. We played our set in sort of drizzle, and people stayed out and watched it just about. And then like the heavens opened while we were packing down,
Oh.
and I came back to not a tent. I didn't have a tent anymore. It had washed away. So I had to sleep absolutely drenched in the back, like in the band tour van, just on the hard floor.
Oh, mate. I mean, to be honest, I've opted to sleep. I went to Salcombe, which is real posh, and I camped on a what it felt like a mountain, but it was a big hill just above Salcombe. Very, very windy. It was like super hot in the daytime. It was in the summer. Went with my buddies, Danny, Owen, and Andy, and in the daytime it was roasting hot, and at night time it was pretty cold. And I'd taken this teepee tent that my girlfriend at the time, it was her tent, and I'd never even opened it before. When I opened it, it was like missing the bottom skirt, or it's not supposed to have a bottom skirt, and basically it had about 2 foot of a gap from the ground sheet up to where the teepee started. So obviously you lie about 1 foot off the ground. Well, you're not floating, but the top of your... Yeah, we all
Depends
levitate,
what you've been up to
right?
during the day.
Yeah, we levitate. We levitate when we sleep, obviously, like vampires or something. Anyway, the wind just rushed through the tent at nighttime, and I think I must have had like heat, sort of like mild heat stroke or something. Anyway, I had to sleep in my friend's... I don't know what it was. He's got a Jazz now, but I don't even think he had a Jazz at that point. It was a tiny little car. It was like the car off of In-Betweeners is what I remember. And I slept...
Like a Pinto or something.
Yeah, I slept like totally bolt upright in this car, and then woke up, you know, with the sunrise, because it was obviously daylight and beaming down, and just it was just horrendous. And they were all kind of laughing at me because I was like, Danny, please let me sleep in your car. I'm dying. It's too cold.
Why didn't they let you sleep in their tents?
I don't know. I can't remember. I think because I snore. They were bastards.
Yeah, you do snore.
I think that could have been it. But anyway, it was a bit grim. We were in this amazing place, and then so tents, mate. Tents they suck, right? Especially when they disappear.
I've got a great tent now.
I know, you've got an inflatable tent.
I've got an inflatable tent. We take it very seriously, and we've only used it once since we got it.
Yeah.
So that's our accreditation for camping excellence, which we will be doing a camping video if we can squeeze it in this summer. Anyway, let's talk about what we're doing this week, and then we'll get to the video, because on Tuesday we went to Great British Beer Festival and had a pretty wonderful time, didn't we? All of the cask that we tried,
Amazing.
except for at the American bar, was on amazing form.
Yeah, the American bar was let's say disappointing, Johnny. But everything else, all...
Yeah, I mean, it kind of always is. It used to be where like all the beer geeks hang out because they're like, well, this is stuff we wouldn't be able to get otherwise. But Americans are terrible at making cask ale, you know, with some notable exceptions. So we all flock there like excited about, oh, look at this double New England IPA on cask. Oh, that's boozy and sticky and sweet and terrible and has zero carbonation and is old and hasn't been looked after properly on the way and all this kind of stuff, which just like... we should expect. Cask is a live product. Americans aren't necessarily the best at producing it. And we have 700 amazing beers from people that are incredibly good at producing it, and yet we all used to flock to the American bar.
Yeah, man. It's this Great British Beer Festival I used to go to when I was when I was at school. So, I would have been 18, I think, the first time I went. And then I went for the next few years with my school friends. And they were all camera members. So I think they got in cheaper than I did. I was never a camera member. And back then, I just remember it being... Because I'm 39, so that's nearly 20 years ago. Or it is 20 years ago. It was just the most sort of trad, fuddy-duddy, old beer belly man territory ever. And I drank in real ale pubs. That was my bag. But this was like, oh my God, this is a lot of people en masse that are like the people I see in the pub.
Yeah, I mean, it is sort of well, not a lighthouse because that wards people away. It was a beacon.
A beacon, yeah, beacon
for a certain kind of British man. But now, I mean, this year, so I was super impressed with the quality of the beer, which hasn't always been the case with GBBF. B, I mean, it's had the variety for a good couple of years now. So it's added, as far as I can tell, quality to the variety. But also the diversity was significantly better. And it was trade day, and I think that the industry is potentially a little bit more diverse than the drinking base still at the moment. But it felt pretty cosmopolitan.
Yeah, it did. It totally did. And it was so nice to see, different kinds of people there. Lots of women, Johnny, which was, unheard of. I don't remember seeing any women back in the day. Well, sorry, that's a ridiculous statement, but... It was way more balanced than it used to be, and lots more young people. Sure. People just we saw loads of sort of fans and stuff there, and peers and everything, and it was a real nice, inclusive environment. Yeah, there were still silly hats. People were still rocking around in silly hats and
it wasn't even Hat Day. I think today's Hat Day. I think Friday's
Hat Day. Yeah.
I think so.
But I mean, I was like, do you know what? Rock around in your silly hat. You're having a good time. As long as you're not getting absolutely legless and being a cretin, then it's all good. Just enjoy yourself. This is the highlight
speaking
of people's years.
The first time I went, which I reckon was 2010.
Yeah.
We got exceptionally drunk and then carried on drinking once we left. And I went into work, I think it was on the Friday, or it must have been the Saturday. Went into work on the Monday and started getting a migraine. And I've never had migraines before, but I had the visual disturbances, felt really dizzy and had an absolutely banging headache. And so I went home, took some Codamol, and the headache just didn't go away. So in the end, I ended up at A&E being I can't shake this headache. It was so bad that I remember when I got back from work and tried to take my shoes off, I fell over. And I went into hospital and they were like, right, well, if you've never had a migraine and you're over a certain age, which must have been 23 or 24 or something, we need to do an MRI scan because that shouldn't really be happening. You shouldn't sort of develop migraines later in life. So I ended up having an MRI. And then when I got the results of that back and a bunch of other tests, just turns out I was dangerously dehydrated.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you are known as a camel because you don't ever take on any water. I never see you drink
a lot of water. No,
you never see you drink any water. I'm always telling you, drink some water, Johnny. Drink some water. Yesterday.
Well, where were you in 2010, Bradley?
Well,
where were you?
I thought
when I was in an MRI.
Maybe I didn't know you in 2010. When did we meet? 2012.
Yeah, you didn't know me. No.
2012?
We met 20 would have been
probably
2012, 2013.
Yeah, I reckon 2012, and then we started in 2013. I mean, yesterday I drank so much water because we were in that environment of steamy. It must have been about 50 degrees in the brew house where we were.
I don't know about that. Maybe 40.
It was 40. Come on, it must have been 40. I drank so much water.
It was seriously warm at the brewery. Yeah. So yesterday, just to give you more teasers about our big project, we were brewing a 75 hectolitre batch of a recipe that I came up with in the Brewdio. How exciting is that? 7,500 litres.
I mean, it's
It's
terrifying
about 12,000 pints.
and exciting. 12,000 pints, Johnny. Imagine how dangerously dehydrated you could be if you got real stuck into that. Yeah.
There you go. MRIs are in our future. Yeah, but we can't tell you much more about that yet. What we will do is talk about the video. So this week's video was a very exciting one in which we collaborated with a channel I've been a long-term fan of, learned a lot from, and enjoyed hugely, which is Clawhammer Supply.
Yeah, the golden god himself, yeah.
So Carl dropped us a message a couple of months ago saying that he was coming to the UK and would we like to meet up and collaborate. And due to like diary conflicts and all this kind of stuff, we ended up having to do we were planning to like spend most of the week together, and it worked out that we could all only do one day. So we filmed 5 videos in one day, and you can definitely tell in this week's video that we'd done 3 already.
It was very compressed as well, wasn't it? The timescale. It was like, I don't know what time.
Yeah,
we
had
got
about
there,
6 hours. It was almost a video an hour.
Yeah, we were banging them out, properly banging them out.
Yeah, and we were drunker than I thought we were.
Yeah.
At the time, I was like, we're a little bit on our way, but I think we can hold this together. And luckily, the result, because sometimes we've binned episodes where Brad and I, we don't want to promote drunkenness.
No.
Being responsibly inebriated can be a lot of fun, but you have to be incredibly careful with putting that online because it can come across in entirely the wrong way. So I was a little bit worried having filmed that because I thought we were a little bit on the way. We were significantly more on the way than I remember. I don't even remember saying I can't feel my face, which I do towards the end of the video.
Yes.
But it came across as, I think, 3 guys having a really lovely time geeking out about beer after a couple of drinks. I think
so, yeah. Which brings me on to one of the comments I have.
Yeah.
From, you might have already chosen this one, I don't know. Alan Stevens. Is that good? Best entertaining video I've seen on YouTube for yonks. Great stuff, guys.
There you go.
I too want to not be able to feel my face. I mean, I don't recommend it, Alan, to be honest. Feeling your face is brilliant.
I don't think it was the alcohol I was referring to. I think because I was laughing and smiling so much. You get to that feeling where like your face feels a bit, I think that's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
People but I don't know for sure.
People that have like really smiley jobs, I'm always like, how do you do that? That must be exhausting.
Keep that up, yeah.
Your face must just be just like a sort of Van Damme ripped muscle. Every ligature in your face and everything must just be hewn to perfection.
There was an advert, it might have even been on our channel, for like competitive eating.
Wow.
And there was a guy whose jaw, like he genuinely developed jaw muscles like around his jawline. And he looked like the guy from American Dad.
Wow.
Because his jawline was that big. And so I wonder if, people in really smiley jobs like, receptionists, waiting staff, bar staff, I wonder if they develop much stronger cheek muscles.
Was that, I think he's called Randy Santel or something, is the competitive eater guy.
Didn't hang around long enough. I just went, that's a weird jaw.
Is he a big...
Now back to watching my own videos.
Big lump of an American dude with like brown hair?
He had brown hair, I remember that much.
I reckon that's I think he's called Randy Santel or something. I got into watching his videos for like about a week years ago, and I was just amazed by what he was doing. But then I thought, actually, this is absolutely horrible, and I wouldn't want to be competitively eating anything.
No, it seems a lot less fun. It's a bit like when people go like, "Oh, you make films about beer. It must be the dream job," and you're like, "Well, half of it is amazing, but." There are drawbacks, such as some very unproductive days, which is probably going to be today. The comment that I enjoyed was from Michael Anderson, who said, another mouth-watering show, cheers. It's kind of funny how one can lust after these foreign beers while local breweries and bottle shops are brimming with excellent local stuff too. And I feel that in my bones. I constantly have to catch myself longingly looking at these American beers and sort of just remind myself that we have beer just as good here, at significantly lower cost, significantly easy to get, and maybe we don't have the strength and depth that the States have, but certainly at the pinnacle, our beer is just as good, and it's always worth remembering that. And that's why the hype train is there. I don't think we have many breweries as good as, say, as good as Burial, but we have plenty that were as good as what are the ones that are slightly disappointed as Monkish probably would come to mind. Other half, like these ones where we've drunk them and gone, yeah, they're good, they're really good, but there's flaws in these beers or there's flaws in these concepts, and I'd rather drink, a Verdant.
Yeah. We don't have an Allagash White though, Johnny. That's one thing I will say.
We don't have an Allagash White. There's a couple of breweries trying. I know the Flowers, it's called, the Queer Brewing Project wit is exceptionally good. Lost and Grounded have just released one, which lots of people love, but for me it's far too dry and light for the style. I want that lemon meringue decadence to a wit beer, whereas theirs is, which is Alex's style, the head brewer and co-owner, is very much his style. Everything he makes is bone dry, even his Helles, which everyone loves the Helles as well. And I'm like, the BJCP nerd in me is going, well, actually, technically, that's too low a gravity for a German Helles. Just readjusted my glasses because you can't see that. So yeah, we don't have an Allagash White yet, but I reckon it's a matter of time before a really killer one. And maybe Flowers it's just not as available.
Yeah. I think whoever gets that right is gonna have a great core beer, or just a beer that you can, like a whole brewery can be based on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have that. I mean, Jaipur's the one that
Yeah.
immediately comes to mind. There, I think Jaipur's about 60% of what they brew, if I remember the interview correctly. So it sort of entirely built that brand, and I think it might start to happen with London Black, with Anspach and Hobday. I think that's going to really take off for them.
Steady rolling, that kind of
Steady rolling
territory.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
built that brand. Yeah. And Lost and Grounded Keller Pills as well. So we do have that, and I think London Black's probably the closest in that, it's a slightly unusual style. It's a very sort of regional style, although obviously New England wasn't the origin of it. But it's the thing about Allagash White is it's such an unusual style to have such an impact, and I think that might be the same for the Nitro Stout.
After you left
Nitro Porter, sorry.
GBBF, Great British Beer Festival, I hung out with the Anspach boys all evening, and also Ollie from Dig Brew made a surprise appearance. I was like, wow, this is cool.
Love that guy. Very kind about a very bad homebrew.
Yeah. So we all hung out. It was brilliant. And drank lots of great beers, talked a load of nonsense. Yeah, wonderful stuff. Yeah, we drank... Did we drink some black? Yeah, we definitely drank some black.
I think they had it on cast, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah.
Bit hazy.
Yeah, I
hazy.
meant to go via there, but I had to go before I managed it.
Had another comment from Brother John, 2002. Now this is hype. 2 best channels on YouTube. Big. Yeah, right?
That is hype, and that it's also probably untrue.
Well,
but I appreciate the compliment.
Maybe 2 best sort of beery channels on YouTube, which I'll gladly take. That's awesome. More Kyle pops up, the more I feel I need a claw hammer system. LOL. So there you go. That's the power of advertising.
You could have said that in a less lolly style.
Yeah.
LOL.
That's the power of advertising.
I mean, claw hammer don't.
Yeah.
They don't sell in the UK, sadly, but maybe one day, because it looks like a very good bit of kit. And I'm hoping. I mean, I feel like we need to go to Asheville because they've got 2 great homebrewing channels there. They do have, obviously, they have Burial. They have Fontaflora is not a million miles away. And a lot of people in the comments were recommending Zillacoa as a great lager brewery. So, we could go there, do lots more collaborations, and have a wonderful time visiting some other breweries. I'd love to go to Fontaflora. So that could definitely happen. But we do have another episode with Kyle to come on our channel, and we have 2 full episodes on his channel. Plus, we're going to feature very briefly in one episode of their homebrewing exploits as well. So there's lots of CBC times Clawhammer Supply content coming into your face holes very, very soon. But before that, we are releasing our Time Hops documentary. That's next week. I think. Wait, where are we? Wednesday. We're filming, aren't we?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, we're filming on Wednesday, but I was thinking of doing a premiere, a YouTube premiere. So maybe after we finish filming, Brad, you and me could hang around and we could do a premiere of it. So if you don't know what a premiere is on YouTube, it's where basically the comments are live, so you can watch along with us and comment live, and we can reply to you. So it's a nice sort of interactive, almost like live stream, but you won't be able to see or hear us. You'll see the video. So I was thinking about doing one of those for it because it's a pretty epic thing. It's 50 minutes long.
Oof.
That's 50.
Yeah.
And it is the story of the 4/5 hops that built the craft beer revolution. And it's been a big project for me and Brad that we've been working on. That's pretty much the main reason why we didn't do a big celebration of our 100th episode, but we will do one eventually. So that's next week, and then we'll be back with the Clawhammer Supply stuff. That's all we've got time for. We've hit 30 minutes.
Can people buy the Time Hops box set still to drink along with
They
us?
absolutely can. Yeah, so I would actually, if you've got time and the money, maybe buy it in advance of that screening and you can watch and taste along with us. At about 40 minutes, the tasting happens and you can have those beers ready. So I'll put a link in the descriptions box to this podcast so that you can click that and go buy the Time Hops beers. Or, if you just want to buy it afterwards, if you realise that they're delicious, and they are bloody delicious, then you can buy it afterwards on the same link. So yeah, that's in the descriptions box below, as is this week's video, as is a link to Clawhammer Supply, because if you don't subscribe to them and you love our homebrew content, you should definitely watch theirs, because although they're a bit more technical, a bit more homebrewy, it's incredibly entertaining stuff. So definitely worth a go, even if you're not a home brewer. So yeah, that's our 100th episode, Bradley. Wasn't quite as special as I was hoping, and it used more references to buttholes than I'd have expected at the start. But yeah, there we go. So we are going to do a celebration probably in a month or two's time, when we're also hoping to launch some new exciting merchandise at the same time.
Ooh.
So watch out for that. We'll be announcing that as and when the details fall into place. Anything left to say? How are you going to end this 100th episode? I'm going to give it to you, Bradley.
Just be good to each other. We've all got to live on this little rock in the sky together. If you go camping, make sure you take some sunscreen in case it's very hot, and also stay hydrated.
And make sure the tent has sides.
Make sure the tent has sides. Stay hydrated, and pack a warm jumper, so you're always prepared. Always be prepared, people. And what did you say? You told me yesterday about the scouts said about their feet, Johnny. That was good. Wise words.
Sorry, which bit?
So you said I was wearing cheap socks yesterday and hot shoes, and you told me.
Oh, yeah. Happy feet, happy heart.
Come
That's
on.
the saying they have in the hiking community.
You told me scouting community. Don't up your thing to the hiking now. You said scouts.
Well,
Be a proud
I mean,
scout,
yeah.
Johnny. Be a proud scout.
I am a proud scout.
There you go.
I am a proud scout. But I think it might be broader. I don't want to give scouts credit. I think it's too nice a saying for a scout to have come up with. I think we got it from something else.
Nice. Well, that's, happy feet, happy heart. Great stuff.
There we go. A message to echo down the ages and take away with you. So we'll see you for episode 101 next week. Love and beer. The Bubble and Friday 5pm podcasts are brought to you by the nerds behind YouTube's craft beer channel. You can watch over 400 mini documentaries at youtube.com/the craft beer channel. And if you love what we do, support us via Patreon and get access to merchandise and our amazing Discord forum, a positive and welcoming space for everyone who loves beer, food and homebrewing. Love and beer.